Hello everyone, it's Refresh, and I'm here to take you on a battle between two Ixalan sealed decks and the Face the Hydra challenge deck from Theros. We'll be playing this series of matches with the Harvester, which will let both of the decks draw and then discard once per turn, as well as the Warrior, which will give a target creature haste until end of turn, once per turn. We'll be starting on normal difficulty with 3 Hydra heads, and then in the second game we will go to hard mode with 4 Hydra heads. Let's see what we have for each hand. Grixis in red has all 3 colors, 3 lands, and some things to play, so we'll go ahead and keep this. Gruul in green has 5 lands and 2 creatures. I think it's worth keeping. We can always loot into what we need each turn. So, turn 1, Grixis will play the Dragon Skull Summit tapped, and Gruul will play the Mountain. And then we will pass to the Hydra. The Hydra will cast the top card of the deck, which is tap up to 2 heads. They don't untap during the Hydra's next untap step. Torn between heads deals 5 damage to each player. So each player will take 6 damage because of the untapped Hydra this turn, and go to 14. And then we will loot at the end of the turn. Grixis draws a Siren Lookout. Gruul draws a Spike-tailed Ceratops. Grixis will discard a Deadeye Tormentor because it's not especially good when the secondary effect is not that powerful. And then Gruul will discard a Forest. And then we will untap. Begin the turn. Draw. Grixis draws an Air Elemental. Gruul draws a Forest. We'll go ahead and play an island here. And on this side we'll play a forest. Neither player can do anything. And so we will see if we can get anything else going by looting this turn. We'll draw a Prosperous Pirates for Grixis and a Mountain for Gruul. We'll discard Vance's Blasting Cannon for Gruul because I think it's a little slow. And on this side we'll discard a Run Aground because it doesn't actually do much in the way of removing. And then we'll pass to the Hydra. The Hydra will not untap this turn and will cast Hydra's Impenetrable Hide. Each head gains indestructible until the end of Hydra's next turn. Each player will take 1 from the untapped head, go to 13. And then we'll pass to the player's turn. They will untap the Harvester and they will draw. Grixis draws a Siren Summoner and Gruul draws a Mountain. Gruul will play a Mountain. We'll play the Frenzied Raptor, and Grixis will play an Island, and we'll play a Siren Storm Tamer. Because the heads are indestructible, there's no point in attacking. So we will pass to the Hydra. The Hydra will untap. The Hydra will draw, and we'll play Torn Between Heads, tap up to 2 heads. They do not untap during the Hydra's next untap step. Torn Between Heads deals 5 damage to each player. We'll be taking another 6 to go to 7. Then we will loot yet again. Grixis draws a Mountain, which we need. Gruul draws an Emperor's Vanguard, which can be good. We will go ahead and discard the Unfriendly Fire, might be the weakest of the bunch, since creatures can keep hitting, so we'll discard that. On this side we'll discard one of the extra forests. Alright, untap, draw, Grixis gets a Mountain, Gruul gets a Mountain, go ahead and play Mountain, and on this side we'll play Forest. We have 4 mana on each side. We'll go ahead and attack with Frenzied Raptor to kill the 1 standing Hydra head. Hydra head dies, we'll gain 2 life each to go to 9. We'll reveal 2 cards to see if there are any new heads. We have a Ravenous Boot head. And then on the second main phase, we will play the Siren Lookout. When Siren Lookout enters the battlefield, it explores. We explore, we have a Shipwrecked Looter. It's castable, so we will leave it right there. We'll put a counter on the Siren Lookout. On this side, we will play Emperor's Vanguard. And then we will pass to the Hydra. Hydra will not untap this turn. We'll play the topmost card, which is each player exiles a creature he or she controls until the Hydra's next turn, when a head leaves the battlefield, return the exiled cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So we'll exile the Siren Storm Tamer and the Frenzied Raptor, and they'll be rescued if we can kill a head next turn. Then we'll take 2 damage from the Ravenous Brute Head to go back down to 7. We will loot at the end of the turn. We will draw the Shipwreck Looter and the Blossom Dryad on this side, and then we will discard a Mountain for Gruul, and Grixis will discard the Shipwreck Looter. Alright, and now we're going to untap. We'll draw. Grixis draws an island. Gruul draws an Unfriendly Fire. Gruul will play the Mountain and the Charging Monstrosaur. Grixis will not play anything just yet. The Charging Monstrosaur will attack a regular Hydra head. The Emperor's Vanguard and Siren Lookout will attack together the Ravenous Brute head. We will kill both and gain 4 life apiece to go to 11. We'll draw 1 card each. Grixis draws a Mountain. Gruul draws a Wild Growth Wanderer. We will reveal 4 cards to see if there are any new Hydra heads. There are 2 regular Hydra heads. On the second main phase, we will play a Mountain on this side, tap everything, this one for red, and play a Stormfleet Arsonist. When Stormfleet Arsonist enters the battlefield, if you attack with a creature this turn, target opponent sacrifices a permanent. Also, these return to the battlefield. We'll sacrifice one of these Hydra heads. We'll gain 2 more life to go to 13. And then we will reveal 2 cards to see if there are any new heads. There's 1 new head. And then we will go to the Hydra's turn. The Hydra will play the topmost card, which is Unified Lunge. Unified Lunge deals X damage to each player, whereas X is the number of heads on the battlefield. There are 3 heads. This is untapped. There are 3 heads. We will take 3 damage plus 3 more damage for 6 damage to go down to 7. And then we will loot at the end of the turn. Grixis draws a Fathom Fleet Firebrand. Gruul draws a Frenzied Raptor. We will discard the Unfriendly Fire on this side. And we will discard a Extraneous Island on this side. Let's untap. Oh, this should have explored. Draw an island or a mountain. Alright, and then we'll do a regular draw for the turn. Grixis draws the Swamp. Gruul draws a mountain. We'll go ahead and play one of the mountains. We will play a mountain. And then Gruul will play the Wild Growth Walker, as well as a Frenzied Raptor. And Grixis will play the Air Elemental. We will give the Frenzied Raptor haste and attack with both Frenzied Raptors, each targeting a Hydra head, as well as the Emperor's Vanguard, targeting the last Hydra head. All 3 Hydra heads will die. We will gain 6 life each to go back up to 13. We will reveal 6 cards to see if there are any new heads. There are no new heads, and so the Ixalan sealed decks defeat the Hydra, and we will move on to Game 2. In Game 2, now on hard difficulty with 4 Hydra heads, we'll draw to 7. Grixis draws 7 cards, draws a Vance's Blasting Cannon, Siren Storm Tamer, Unfriendly Fire, Deadeye Tormentor, Mountain, and Island. We don't have black mana, but I think we should keep this because at least we have plays. Gruul draws 7, draws a Mountain, Emperor's Vanguard, Pounce, Cobbled Wings, Mountain, and Mountain. We don't have the color of mana that we need, so we're going to shift this hand and go for the second 7. Since this is a multiplayer game, we get 1 free mulligan. Alright, second hand. There's 7. We have Mountain, Forest, Mountain, Charging Monstrosaur, Forest, Mountain, Wild Growth Walker. It's not great, but I think that this is worth keeping off the power of the Wild Growth Walker and hopefully looting into what we need. Alright, ready? Turn 1, Grixis will play a island and then play Siren Storm Tamer. Gruul will play a forest and will pass turn. Hydra will draw and play Hydra's Impenetrable Hide. Each head gains indestructible until the end of the Hydra's next turn. We take 4 damage from the 4 Hydra heads to go to 16 each, and then we'll loot at the end of the turn. Grixis draws a swamp. Gruul draws a Deep Root Warrior, which is aggressive enough to keep. We'll drop a mountain for Gruul, and Grixis will drop the Vance's Blasting Cannon because it's probably a little too slow. Alright, we'll untap. We'll draw. Grixis draws a Brazen Buccaneers. Gruul draws a Crash the Ramparts. Hydra's hides are impenetrable. There's no reason to attack this turn. We will go ahead and play the Mountain for Gruul and tap both and play a Deep Root Warrior. And then we will play a Mountain for Grixis and we'll pass the turn. We'll go to the Hydra's turn. The Hydra will play the topmost card, which is Disorienting Glower. Players can't cast spells until the Hydra's next turn. Hydra will do 4 damage again to each player, taking us down to 12. At the end of the turn, we will loot once. Grixis draws a Vanquish the Weak. Gruul draws a Forest. We will discard the Crash the Ramparts. And on this side, we will discard the Unfriendly Fire. And then we'll untap. We'll draw. We have a Unfriendly Fire for Grixis and a Vance's Blasting Cannons for Gruul. We will play a Swamp for Grixis. We will play a Forest for Gruul. We'll attack with the Deep Root Warrior, one of the Hydra heads, and the Deep Root Warrior, whenever Deep Root Warrior becomes blocked, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn, so it becomes a 3/3, killing the Hydra head, getting us 2 life to go back up to 14. We'll reveal 2 cards to see if there are any new Hydra heads. There are no new Hydra heads. And then we will play, Gruul will play the Wild Growth Walker. Grixis will play a Deadeye Tormentor, and the team will pass the turn. The Hydra will play the topmost card, which is a Ravenous Broodhead. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage, taking us down to 9. And then we will loot and finish the turn. Grixis draws an island. Gruul draws a Colossal Dreadmaw. Gruul will discard the Vance's Blasting Cannon. Grixis will discard the Unfriendly Fire, and then we'll untap. Grixis draws a mountain. Gruul draws a Spike-tailed Ceratops. Grixis will play a mountain, and then we'll play the Brazen Buccaneers. When it enters the battlefield, we explore. We flip over the top card. It's a mountain. It goes into our hand. Gruul will play a mountain, and then we'll hold steady. We will attack the Ravenous Broodhead with the Wild Growth Walker, the Siren Storm Tamer, the Deadeye Tormentor, and the Brazen Buccaneers for 6 damage. We'll also attack a Hydra head for another 3 damage. When Deep Root Warrior becomes blocked, it's +1/+1. And that will kill both the Hydra head and the Ravenous Broodhead, giving each player 4 life, take us back up to 13. And we'll each draw a card. That gets us a Stormfleet Aerialist on Grixis' side and another mountain on Gruul's side. And then we will reveal 4 cards to see if there are any new heads this turn. Here is a Ravenous Broodhead. Now we'll pass to the Hydra. The Hydra will play the topmost card, which is Noxious Hydra Breath. Choose 1. Noxious Hydra Breath deals 5 damage to each player, or destroy each tapped non-head creature. That would destroy the whole board. We can't afford that. We'll take 5 damage, plus another 1, 2, 3, 4 damage, for 9 damage to take us down to 4. And then we will loot at the end of the turn. Grixis draws a Burning Sun's Avatar. Gruul draws a mountain. Gruul will discard a mountain, and Grixis will discard a mountain. And then we'll untap. We'll draw. Grixis draws an island. Gruul draws Cobbled Wings. Grixis will play an island. Gruul will play a forest. Gruul will tap all 5, and we'll play a Charging Monstrosaur, which comes in with haste. And then the Charging Monstrosaur and the Wild Growth Walker will attack the Ravenous Broodhead. The Deadeye Tormentor and the Siren Storm Tamer will attack a Hydra head, and the Deep Root Walker will attack the last Hydra head, pumping itself when the Hydra head blocks. We'll kill all 3 of these, gaining us 6 life each, and drawing us 1 card, take us to 10. Grixis draws a Stormfleet Pyromancer. Gruul draws a Forest. We'll reveal 6 cards to see if there are any new Hydra heads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 2 new Hydra heads. It is a regular Hydra head and a Ravenous Broodhead. discarding the other 4 cards. On the second main phase, Grixis will play the Stormfleet Aerialist, and it will enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter as a result of raid, and then we will pass to the Hydra. The Hydra will draw and play the top card, which is Distract the Hydra. Each player may sacrifice a creature. Each player who sacrificed a creature this way chooses the head and taps it. Each player who didn't sacrifice a creature loses 3 life. We will just lose 3 life each, and then also lose another 3 life to go for 6 life to go down to 4 this turn. And then we will loot at the end of the turn. Grixis draws a Pirate's Cutlass. Gruul draws a Forest. We'll discard a Forest. And on this side, we will discard an Island. And then we will untap. We'll draw. Grixis draws a Fathomfleet Firebrand. Gruul draws a Drover of the Mighty. Gruul will play a Mountain. Grixis will play a Mountain. Grixis will tap out and play the Burning Sun's Avatar. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target opponent and 3 damage to 1 creature. The opponent is the Hydra. Will do 3 damage to the Revenant's Broodhead and another 3 damage to the creature to kill it, giving each player 2 life to go to 6, and drawing each player a card. It's a Mountain for Grixis and a Frenzied Raptor for Gruul. We'll reveal 2 cards to see if there are any new heads. There are no new heads. And then we will attack with the Siren, Storm Tamer, and the Deadeye Tormentor to finish off the last Hydra head. It dies, we gain 2 life apiece to go up to 8. We reveal 2 more cards to see if there are any new Hydra heads. There are no new Hydra heads, and so the Hydra perishes, and the Ixalan sealed decks win against the difficult Hydra. Let me know what you thought about this battle in the comments below. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more such videos, hit subscribe. Coming up soon will be these 2 decks versus the Battle of the Horde deck from Born of the Gods. Until then, thanks for watching. This was Refresh, and I will see you next time.